Hi guys, my name's Speculating. I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back to Conan Exiles. Now we're over on this side of the map over here, just because we've got some interesting stuff to talk about as a result of the quick update that was given, and some stuff that we can kind of read between the lines on. But I kind of wanted to just come over here and, as next Tuesday at time of recording, which by the time you watch this video will be last Tuesday, which means that on Funcom's YouTube channel there should very well be the video on demand version of the live stream, essentially for people to watch. They're apparently going to finally be showing off what the jungle slash swamp biome that's over here, up in this area, is going to be like. And apparently we're also getting to see possibly some of the volcano biome, and whatever else they kind of want to show us. But the more important thing to talk about, I mean, as I said, I wanted to just come over here and climb up somewhere high and look over that area to see where kind of it's going to slot into the map, what kind of space they've made for it already. Because if you go underneath the map at the moment, you can't really see much. But, like, we've got a lot of water, and we've got those large structures in the distance there. So I wanted to just come up and see, you know, what we can see for the moment. Even though it's all placeholder, there is a limit to the map that they've built here, and it's going to be out there somewhere. So I wanted to just come and take a look. But the more important thing is that in the quick update that they've given us so far, because unfortunately I say unfortunately for us, I'm sure they enjoyed it. But the guys at Funcom had their Easter holiday, some of which was kind of an enforced holiday as well in Norway. So they had to deal with that and take the time off, which is absolutely fine. You know, they've been seemingly working hard. They've been showing us stuff as they've been able to. So, you know, I don't fault them taking some time off at all. But it is kind of interesting now that they had some people at GDC, I think, last week. They're having Jens Erik, their community manager, be at EGX Res this week, or next week rather. At the time that this video is going up, next week for me, this week for you. And so he's going to be showing off the game, which is why the live stream is going to be on Tuesday, or was on Tuesday. This whole time difference thing is confusing. But at the same time, they've now said that they have reached content lock. Everything that they are working on is essentially in the game, packaged up, ready to go for discs and stuff. And everything that they are now doing is purely optimization as far as the kind of disc releases of the games are concerned. What that means for us, though, is that they have done everything, at the very least, in terms of all the features that they've talked about, all the stuff that they have said that they wanted to put into the game, that list of features that they said are going to be in versus the ones that they said that they're going to have to miss out. All of those are done. And, you know, that's great for us, because now we know. But at the same time, we've got a couple of extra little things to keep in mind, and that is that it's easy for them to put all of those things just on a disc. You know, their dev build, as long as it works a little bit, they can put it on a disc, because then everything else is just optimization and working stuff out and making sure that it works for us. So even though they've got it all sorted, they've got it all fixed and all onto a disc, in terms of, like, when I say fixed, I mean the limits of what they're doing. All of the rest of the stuff that they are now looking at is going to be very much aimed at making sure it works, because sticking it all on a disc, straightforward, easy, you know, it's basically just putting everything that they have on their various hard drives into one place. When it comes to loading that in a functional form to live servers, to our games, you know, so that we can continue to play without things breaking, you know, that's a slightly different matter. So I'm still expecting us to get maybe the combat system and at the very least the new biomes and things all run together like they did with the Frozen North expansion, or update, or however you want to talk about that. But in regards to the other things like some of the map room teleporting stuff, maybe some of the other bits and pieces that they've talked about or that they've touched on, seeing all of that polished and made better and sorted out, so that it can be introduced to our games without things going horribly wrong. I feel like that's going to be that might still be separated out into a couple of other smaller updates as well after we get these new biomes, after we get the new combat system. But the combat system's been on test live for a while now, so I would imagine that's the next thing that we're going to see one way or the other. But it's from what we can take away is now, if they're showing off the biome kind of next, to me, next live stream, then that means that this area out here, plus further on up the coast that we just can't get to because of the curse wall at the moment, this is all going to be the beginnings of the jungle biome. And the way that it is over here, it's kind of spread out and separated up with the big rocky crags and things like that, and these channels that used to be rivers, seemingly, considering the way that it's hewn through the rock. But I want to take a little closer look down at the edge there next to the curse wall pillars and stuff. So let's head over. But ultimately, we've seen a couple of screenshots of kind of stuff we can expect from the jungle biome. We had that big kind of spidery Dryder demon type thing that they showed off, and they've got some other stuff as well that they've talked about. And of course, we're going to get Derketo showing up as well, and we've seen some of the ruins and stuff. So even if, okay, that won't let me climb it, that's fun. So even if we've got this area kind of similar, because I would imagine that these big rocky pillars, same way that they did with the Frozen North, these curse wall pillars are just going to, or these rocky outcroppings with the curse wall pillars, the curse wall pillars are just going to get destroyed. They're going to be damaged, and as a result, we won't see this area change all that much. But in regards to kind of some of the other stuff, we're probably going to see those areas further out from where we are here, being much thicker, denser, having a lot more stuff in them, and so on and so forth. But keeping all of this in mind, and keeping in mind what they did with the Frozen North expansion, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they actually do with it. Which things that they've talked about, whether or not it'll be like, here's basically all of the stuff that we've talked about thus far, either in some simple capacity, some like slightly diminished capacity, or in terms of something else. So with farming, for instance, if they put in the beginnings of farming and then bolster it in updates and as they polish it towards the end, hold on. So like, I got too close. Damn it. Oh, and my arms fell off. And the leg. That's delightful. I fell over inside the curse wall and then it spat me back out, apparently. Apparently I just wasn't good enough to lie there. Oh well. Where are we? Oh, we're on the... Oh, there we go again. I was killed by the curse wall. You don't say. Right. Keeping in mind what they did with the stuff up here, where it was, we've had like just up here, over there, you had that big curse wall pillar, and this was originally completely like you couldn't get past here. You couldn't climb up here because climbing hadn't been introduced by that point. And climbing did kind of change the game in a lot of ways, which is important to remember. You know, they added it with the Frozen North essentially, and the kind of the Frozen North and the way that it worked out allowed for like all of these things to be introduced at once. You know, we did get a new religion. We did get this expansion to the map by simply just chipping the corners off this and letting us roam a little more. And so, you know, we've seen all of this before. But as a result, though, if they've had the combat updates and upgrades and things that they're working on test live for a fair while. You know, they've had them there for what, a month, maybe a little longer. Was it February that they added them? I think. You know, so I think they've been there for a while now. So we've got, you know, in theory, they've already made some changes to it. They're still picking up more information to make more changes to it, just to make sure that it all works out well. Which, yeah, sounds good to me. I'd like to think it sounds good to everyone else. I've not been able to cloak or anything again, so there's a bear over there, so we'll try and avoid it to the best of our ability. But yeah, it's gonna be, in theory, I'm gonna make my guess here and say we're at the beginning of April now. I wouldn't be surprised if come the live stream next week where they show off the new biome, or rather the new larger biome, because we've got the two coming in, but one of them is decidedly larger than the other, because the volcano is kind of contained to just the volcano where we see it at the moment, whilst the jungle's a bit more expansive, runs down onto the water. Whether or not we'll be able to go through the water to the other side properly, you know, they've shown us the map before, but that includes the jungle. But whether or not that was a finalized map, whether or not we're going to see more or less of it than what's shown there, you know, we'll have to see as things progress. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of interesting stuff to look at very soon, in theory. And I'd put my money on maybe if they're showing us next week, second week in April, then maybe at the very least another week or two. Like if they release it the following week, like everything, the combat changes to a larger audience than just test live, the updates to the map, so we get the new biome and all that kind of thing. If they release all of that in one go, like a week after they just go, look, this is what we're adding, and we hope you enjoy it because you're getting it next week, then hold on, then that would be terrific. You know, I'd be incredibly happy with that. But I don't know. We'll have to kind of see whether or not that comes to pass, or why do I keep dropping off the rock? Strange. Okay, do you know what? At this point, I'm just trying to get to another place so we can see where the curse wall is and where the boundaries are going to be. I'm not above just flying up here. But yeah, so we're going to have some interesting things coming soon. And the more important thing, as far as I'm concerned, is that once we get those interesting, as I keep saying, things coming into the game, then, especially with the combat system, I can do all the testing on the combat system. We can do all the exploration of the jungle. You know, we can do all the stuff that we've kind of, well, at least as far as I'm concerned, I've kind of been looking forward to for a long while, just to kind get hold of stuff, look through stuff, get on with it, you know, find out what's going on and how things are going to be in the end game, as it were. You know, like oh yeah, I forgot I didn't turn cloak on. Whoa, guys, I know the pocket. Not found this place before, apparently. As much as I appreciate being turned into a human pincushion, I'm recording a video. I'm going to have to ask you to cease and desist, please, 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 please. Do you know what? I could do this, and now, this is where I take revenge on all of you, and just knock you all unconscious, because this is entirely what you deserve. Entirely what you deserve, as my body consumes the arrows and I walk away unscathed. There we go. Okay, I'm now my vengeance has been sated. But yeah, like we've got stuff up here from the edge of the map, or kind of the intersection between the two so far, and it's going to be, bless you, it's going to be interesting to see how, like, we're here. They've said that there are going to be ways through into the different new biomes. Like, we can be fairly certain that Dragonmouth is going to be the way through to the volcano. We can be fairly certain that these caves over here are going to be in some way connected through to over here, because they've kind of mentioned subterranean passageways from point A to point B, in which case having a place over the top here down into the jungle, because I think the jungle comes to about here-ish, kind of like in an arc across. So there would be, as I've said before, there would be space for another biome up here if they wanted to do it, but whether or not that's a thing that they've not mentioned it, that's not a thing that they've talked about doing at all. It might be something that they've got on their books for post-launch. But again, we'll have to see. We can be hopeful, I guess. But like, again, I'm interested to see kind of how they go about this. Will it be another expansion in the same way that the Frozen North expansion was, where it's just a case of, right, we're breaking down the curse wall, here you go, run riot, have fun, here are all these new systems, all these new things you can build, all these new creatures to fight, and so on and so forth. But also, I feel like the way that we've got stuff... Are you guys just kind of floating in the air? They are. How interesting. They broke. But like, one of the things that I really looking forward to seeing is how all of the new creatures act, because we've got their idle stuff, we've got their new attack animations and their new behaviors. So we're going to have all of that come in, giving all of the other older biomes, both in the exiled lands and kind of up here in the north, a new kind of lease of life. I feel, you know, they're all going to be given a new depth to them, just in terms of what we see as we're moving around. So I'm hopeful and looking forward to seeing all of this stuff soon. And as said, I'm hoping that we're going to get maybe another, because if we've got the full release in May, you know, granted we're kind of into April now, they might just wait and keep everything up until May. But I feel like some of the stuff, like access to the new biome, access to the new combat system and stuff, it would be a missed opportunity to not release it at least a couple of weeks early, just so that you can see any other additional problems, faults, holes in the map, and stuff like that your player base is more likely to find than your QA testers, simply because there are so many more players that want to get in, want to take a look at this game and actually mess around with its new systems. QA testers can do an awful lot, but you've got, what, maybe one QA guy per team, or a handful of QA guys in an office sat there playing through, trying to bug fix, find things, and all the rest of it. You're going to find just as much, if not more, from your community that are sat there going, right, well, we're just going to play this for fun, and we're just going to stumble into holes, and we're going to find ways to abuse systems and break things and whatever else, because that's what we do, because we're players. So, we'll I feel like it would be better for the game itself and the health of the game at launch if they released these systems at least a couple of weeks early in terms of its finalized release date, just to help them polish, to help them find things that are broken. But whether or not that happens, who knows? I'm hopeful that it does, because if they're announcing and showing off the new biome next week, then we can, I would hope, look forward to seeing it maybe a week or so afterwards, if everything else that they want to put in with it is done to the extent that it at least seems to be. Because they've shown off the farming system. They've shown off the map room. They've shown off some of the other bits and pieces in regards to... Well, they've shown off the combat system a load. They've given us some screenshots and things of the new creatures and parts of the new biomes. So, one would hope that those are all getting wrapped up quite nicely, considering we've not heard anything about these for a while. It's all been combat system, combat system, combat system. When these were talked about and announced, like, beginning of the year, if not slightly earlier. So, we'll have to see. But either way, guys, let me know what you think. Are we considering that by the time you've watched this video, we will have seen the dev stream as well? Let me know what you think of the new biome. Let me know what you think we're going to see. They may very well say in the dev stream, but obviously I'm a weekend and a couple of days behind that being released. So, we'll see. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.